I knew it was going to happen. I said this earlier. And so you know, the first people I have to thank are your wife, and where you go, and your son.
I'm over here.
They've been on this from the beginning, so you know.
Well, when I saw the pictures, I go, okay, somebody.
Oh, the invitation. Yeah, Jules told me about that day when you were at the auto body place.
Yeah.
He saw it, but I just told him he needed it. But those two have been instrumental in helping me, so you know. A lot of what happened today, a lot of what you see is because of Kyle and Jewel. And they're wonderful people to work with. Thank you. Well, I already told Jewel, this is going to be hard for me to do. But I'm going to try and do my best without crying and getting emotional. Yeah. Kyle.
I'm over here.
I met Kyle.
We're both being spelled.
I met Kyle when he was just a baby, and now look at him. Holy Toledo. Mick began his career in South Milwaukee in September of 1982. We were just talking before we walked in the office, and I said something about how does a guy from Michigan end up in Wisconsin? We were talking, and I knew way back when how they met through the military, and how I said, how did you end up back over here, though? And then I found out Jewel grew up real close to where I currently reside, so I thought that was pretty cool.
And I'm going to give her up. She said she never wanted to step foot in South Milwaukee again. Because every time she came to the DMV office, she failed.
I think everyone in town knows Mick, and that's one of the cool things, and that's going to be one of the hard things, is having such a person like him representing the South Milwaukee Police Department. You couldn't have a better person. Mick, and I wrote down some of the different roles that he has done over the years. You're going to see over there, and I've been wanting to do this, there's a puppet, and his name is Officer Ollie. And way back in the 80s, Mick started it was a stranger danger program at the schools that was supported by Reverend Stenzel's church. They actually bought these puppets for the police department way back in the 80s for $750, and it was one of the first stranger danger programs that was in the area. And Mick went with the puppets, and they did this whole stranger danger to the kids. And you'll see a picture, a very old picture over there of Mick with Officer Ollie. I've been wanting to, and I'm hoping today we can get another picture of Mick with Officer Ollie. That's why he's sitting there. It was funny when I was going through some pictures for another individual, I found that, and I was like, I remember when we did the remodeling that those puppets were shoved in a cabinet, so I ran and I got the puppets so I wouldn't forget to have it out. But
Officer Ollie has changed.
no, Officer Ollie, he hasn't gotten gray, he hasn't lost his hair, none of it. But Mick was one of the key officers in creating the Officer Ollie, the Stranger Danger program. He also was one of the original, or the creator of the bike rodeo that South Milwaukee had for many years in memory of John Stoll. We had that program for many, many years, and then we decided to try and get it to all the kids. Mick worked very hard. We wrote a grant, and we got a bike trailer where we now take the program to all third graders in South Milwaukee. So every child in South Milwaukee gets it. Mick was instrumental in getting that program going, and it's very unique. When you talk to other agencies in the state of Wisconsin, they're always like, you're the agency that has that really cool, unique program. And it was because of Mick that we got that program going. Mick, this is where it gets sentimental for me. Mick was one of I had two FTOs. Mick was my FTO, my second FTO, because we had a switch. And I think some of that bonding and getting to know each other was on that third shift, cruising around in the car, and then I would get to stop at the house, and I'd get to see that little guy who's not so little anymore. He was that's where there's a special fondness for me, because I spent a bunch of time with Mick, and we got to know each other pretty good, and that bond is there. Mick was also a juvenile officer, a very well-known juvenile officer, and who was a DARE officer, so he made a lot of contacts. Before we walked in here, we were talking about from teaching DARE, you bump into people that you know, and then all of a sudden they have families, and it's like, holy Toledo. Not only do you feel really old, but it's really neat to see that they stayed in our community because they love our community. It has to do with role models like that. Mick is a firearms instructor. Everyone knows Mick for the motorcycle. You can see lots of pictures of Mick on the motorcycle over here. Whether or not you knew it, Mick had a modeling career. Quite a while, modeling for Harley. There's many pictures of him modeling for Harley. Apparently he was their go-to model. So you'll see many pictures of Mick in the Harley posters. Mick also is one of our car safety seat individuals, and he got an award this year for being, he was recognized this year for being one of the outstanding car seat safety inspectioners. I don't know.
For being an old guy.
He does accident reconstruction, and recently when we formed the Joint South Shore Tactical Unit, Mick was one of the key members on that team also. There's a bunch of other numerous things that Mick has done over the years and things that he has accomplished, and I could go on and on because his folder was like this thick with letters from people talking about his professionalism, his service, his dedication to our community, how much he helps people. It's just, our city is our city is really, when Mick finally does walk out the door, because he's not actually done yet, he's on the books until March 3rd. He was told he can't turn his stuff in because if something happens, we're calling him. But when he walks out the door, we're going to be losing a really valued member. I'm going to steal something, and this wasn't written by me, but I thought this was so well written. It was written by his wife. And I thought this was so well written that I wanted to read it to everyone because it sums everything up and it's beautifully written. He took his oath as a South Milwaukee police officer on September 22nd, 1982. Now, 31 years later, he is turning in his badge and retiring. When he first began on the department, they put him undercover because no one knew him. Now it seems like everyone knows Officer Mick, which I think is extremely true. Over the years, he has been seen patrolling the community of South Milwaukee, riding in the squad or running radar on the Harley. Some of his roles have included teaching DARE, juvenile officer at the middle and high school, organizing the John Stoll Memorial Bike Rodeo, accident reconstruction, responding to domestic calls, hostage situations, robberies, burglaries, fatalities, and bar fights. He was often found strolling through Grant Park, running through neighborhoods, and many other adventures in line of duty. Mick has served under 4 different police chiefs. He has had a variety of uniforms hanging in his closet and tested several variations of bulletproof vests over the years. He has interacted with the good, the bad, the ugly, and the funny. He served as a field training officer, a firearms instructor, a SWAT team member, a hostage negotiator, Police Week memorial escort in Washington, D.C., and more. He's made some wonderful friends and his fair share of haters, because we all know everyone likes the firefighters better.
So true.
He's worked with politicians, business owners, preachers, and teachers. He's stood toe-to-toe with criminals and held the hand of children. He's issued tickets, received commendations, sat in courtrooms, conversed in squad rooms, and stood in jail cells. And I think, for me, and I already had told me this, I don't know who my table buddy at roll call is going to be. Mick always sits next to me at roll call, and we always, I'm naughty, the captain will attest to this, I like to talk too much, and frequently I can get Mick into trouble because I'm the one talking when he's supposed to be paying attention to roll call, but it is. But I forgot to bring this up here with me, I want to present you with this plaque in recognition of your 31 and a half years to the city of South Milwaukee, to our citizens, and to all of us at your home that we call your family. First real kiss. He's never had a real kiss. So, where did he go?
I'm over here.
Oh, is he I'm losing you.
I'm in the same spot.
So small.
Yeah, so small.
Say it fast, or would you rather just relax? Okay. Something special that Mick doesn't know is going to happen is we've done some scheming and planning, and through mail and email, and I learned how to email things. I learned how to use the computer. Kyle created something that we would like for you to sit down and watch. Have a seat. I can sit. I'll sit next to you like we're in roll call. How's that?
Don't talk.
I'll tell you what my name is. My name is Mick. Mick, okay? That's short for Mickey. Who's your favorite Mickey? Yeah, Mickey Mouse. Everybody likes Mickey Mouse, right? Yeah. So just think of my big ears, and you'll remember my name is Mickey, right? I'm a police officer here in South Milwaukee.
How fast you were going?